And let us begin with the sun. So what is sun? It's a star, correct. So when you say it's a star, it has its own light. So now also remember, the sun is a star. All the stars you see in the night sky are suns. I repeat, if sun is a star, all stars are suns. And for your information, our Milky Way galaxy has more than 400 billion stars. 400 billion suns. Among them, ours is less than an average star. It's not a big star. It's a yellow dwarf star with a surface temperature of about 5,700 degrees centigrade. And at the core of the star, the temperature is about 15 million degrees. That's 1.5 crore degrees centigrade, where hydrogen, the lightest element of the universe, is getting fused to form helium, and thus we get energy in the form of light and heat. Now, initially people thought that sun does not move, it is standstill. But after the invention of telescope, people discovered that sun rotates on its own axis. And it takes approximately a month for sun to make one rotation. I said approximate because sun being gaseous, it rotates faster at the equator and slower at the poles. Okay? Now we'll move on to the planets. The first planet from the sun is Mercury. It's about 3 Earth months to go around the sun. But this is very interesting planet. Okay? Imagine this. If you go and stay there, then as seen from the planet, it never happens that way. Because as seen from Mercury, the sunrise to sunrise time turns out to be about 6 Earth months long. So actually speaking, Mercurian day is longer than its year. Okay? Remember this. Now how many moons does Mercury have?
Zero.
Okay, it does not have any moons. Which is the next planet from the sun? Venus. Correct. Venus. Now Venus takes about 8 Earth months to make one rotation, and it takes about 7.5 Earth months to go around the sun. And unlike the Earth, the sun on Venus rises from west and sets in the east. That is because this planet rotates in opposite manner as compared to that of the Earth. Now, how many moons does Venus have?
Zero.
First two planets do not have any moon. Which is the third planet? The only known planet of our solar system where life exists. And the reason for that is liquid water. And where do you think this water on the Earth has come from? Lake. Yes, but where does the ice come from? So the answer is ice cream. But they were cosmic ice creams without cream. And they had been deposited by these chunks of ice called comets. Okay? So during the formation of the Earth and the solar system, some 3 to 4 billion years back, many of these comets had hit all the planets. But among them, Earth, being at the right distance from the star, she could retain that ice even today in the form of water. Now, our Earth has a natural satellite, and that is Moon. And so far, 12 Americans have been to the Moon. Unfortunately, there is still a whole school of thought who do not believe in moon landing, but we will let them enjoy in their own school the way we have left the flat Earth people in Kiriatik community. Surprisingly, even now. Now, recently, India sent 3 missions to the moon, and the third one is already known to all of us, right? But nobody talks about the first 2 missions, which were equally important. So I'll tell you something very interesting about that. Chandrayaan 1 was designed for 2 years. It worked for 9 months. But believe me, that was the only satellite of the world in half its design lifetime has given us back 95% of the data. So Chandrayaan 1 was a highly successful mission. Chandrayaan 2 definitely had problem with the lander, but never the orbiter. The orbiter is still functioning and the mission is still active. And for your information, it has created the first ever sodium map of the moon. Yes, sodium deposits on the moon. The point I want to make is it was never a complete failure the way some portion of the media projected it to be. So remember, whenever you want to know anything about our satellites, go to ISRO website and not on any of the unreliable sources like media. I know for sure it is highly concerned. Okay? Now, and for Chandrayaan 3, I don't have to mention anything. It has been a grand success. Great. Okay, coming back to the chart. Which is the fourth planet? Mars. In India, we call it. Of course, it's the red planet. But why? You know why it is reddish in color?
Iron.
Iron. Have you seen iron? How many of you have cycles at home? All of you, right? So what you do is you have to wash your cycle every day without oiling it. Will you be able to pedal it again? No. Why? It will catch rust, and the same rust is reddish in color, and in science we call it iron oxide. Okay, it's not iron but the rust. Now in India we call it Mangal, यानी कि शुभ, auspicious. लेकिन दुर्भाग्य है कि इसी देश के कई लोगों ने इसे अमंगल ठहरा दिया है. मैंने व्हाट्सएप पे एक जोक पढ़ा जिसमें लिखा है कि इस ग्रह का एक ही काम है, भारत में शादियां तोड़ना. लेकिन इस बेचारे को पता नहीं कि उसके नाम पे यहाँ दुकानें चलती हैं. तो याद रखिएगा, कोई भी ग्रह किसी के भी आड़े नहीं आते, सिर्फ और सिर्फ मनुष्य के आड़े आते हैं, और खास करके उनके जो ईमानदारी से काम करते हैं. Now this planet takes 24 Earth hours to make one rotation, that is same as the Earth. Okay, and it takes about 2 Earth years to go around the Sun. And how many moons does Mars have? 2. Now after Mars are some objects which are called asteroids. Now be careful, children. The way they are shown is absolutely wrong. What I am trying to tell you is they are not so large. And for the same very reason, this region is absolutely not so crowded. Imagine this, if you could take a rocket and land on any one of them, the other will never be visible in the sky. Never ever. Because they themselves are small and also spaced out. They are far away from each other. Okay? So this region is almost invisible to us. Okay, then comes which planet? Jupiter. The biggest and also the heaviest planet of all. Yes. Now Jupiter takes about 10 Earth hours to make one rotation, and it takes about 12 Earth years to go around the Sun. And how many moons does Jupiter have today? 95. Okay, 90 plus. 90 plus. Okay. Okay, then comes which planet? Saturn. That's the last planet which we can see with unaided eye. That is, without using telescope. And for the same very reason, the last planet of our central overhead model. Now Saturn takes about 11 Earth hours to make one rotation, and it takes about 30 Earth years to go around the Sun. And Saturn has 140 moons, highest in the solar system, 140. Now, planets after Saturn are too dim, and one needs a powerful telescope to see them, and that's the reason they are not shown in the central overhead model. However, among them, Uranus has 28 moons, Neptune has 16, and Pluto, whether or not anybody calls it a planet, doesn't matter. It was, it is, and will always remain integral part of our solar system, is having 5 moons of its own. It's only that now I put it in a new category called dwarf planets. Absolutely correct. So with this, I end my explanation of the solar system here. Now there are 2 things you need to know before I leave you for the show. For the people who have come late, are requested to please see the exhibits before you enter the Sky Theatre. Even at the first floor, there are lots of exhibits where you are supposed to see them beforehand. Please don't keep after the show, because I am going to start my show only after 3:15. Okay? So please, you have ample time in hand. And in case of any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay? Just here. What is it?